What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Team Game Thursdays here at 4Strategy Gaming. Yes, here on Thursdays, right on this very channel, we will be watching StarCraft 2 team matchups. Now, we're going to be looking at another 2v2. This time, we have got a double Terran versus a double Zerg. We can see the double Zerg team over here, FarLock as the Aqua Zerg player, and the purple Zerg player is NicoTn. I'm just going to call him NicoTn. Back over here, we do have Conan as the red Terran, and the blue Terran is TMG. So yes, double Terran versus double Zerg, another 2v2 matchup. Really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. We will see which race is more superior, which race is overpowered. And yes, you can troll and complain in the comments all you want. I love trolls. JK, dying of fire. Back over here, TMG actually going with his first supply depot behind his mineral patch, so deciding to not go for that frontal wall off. Something I am also interested to see here. Given the fact that they are double Terran, I'm a little surprised that they're not going to kind of go for a shared wall off down here. That can make things a little bit easier, especially dealing with Baneling Bust. If you can work together as a cohesive group, it's much easier, where as opposed to, if, say, we had a Baneling Bust or a Roach Push up on one base, it's harder for reinforcements to come from the other player. But with that said, though, obviously very, very close distance, so making that reinforcement and that assistance time a lot shorter than it may be in other 2v2 maps. We can see right now Conan moving in with the SCV Scout, also SCV Scout from TMG coming on through, so SCV will be moving on in, dancing around, grabbing some minerals, and then heading back home. Let's see if he actually makes it, or is he going to get attacked? He's dancing around, and the Zerg player, yes, not even bothering attacking. Something actually a lot of people do is when they get workers in their mineral patch, they pull guys off the line to try to attack. Now, 1, 2, maybe even 3 is okay, but sometimes you'll see players grab all of their workers just to try to attack the SCV, and then of course the SCV or whatever the scouting worker is can just use that mineral pathing to move right through, and that delay in mining time is actually kind of an issue, so you should try to avoid that if at all possible. Conan, interesting decision here, putting that second supply depot right there on the ledge. My only concern here, of course, is if vision of the high ground is granted, Roaches and Hydras or any sort of the ranged Zerg units would be able to snipe down that extra depot. Seems unnecessarily vulnerable, I guess is what I'm really trying to say. Unless he's got some crazy wall-off idea, but this being right here, maybe it only helps. Okay, so Baneling Bust. So he's got a second level for the Baneling Bust. I suppose that might be his mentality. Back over here, let's look at what the Zerg players are doing. We've got Metabolic Boost coming out here for NicoTn, and then also FarLock just now starting that Metabolic Boost himself. Neither player expanding. We do have the SCV over here of Conan trying to drop that expansion. It looks like TMG will be trying to do the same here at this expansion. The natural is blocked off because of these destructible rocks, so the Zerg players, it'll be quite some time if before either of them tries to decide to expand over there. We do have NicoTn's Overlord spotting out over here. Let's take a look at what the build is going to be. We've got 2 racks and a factory coming out here for TMG, just now getting up his second refinery. Back over here for Conan, sitting on the 2 racks himself, and there is a factory. So both Terran players will be doing 2 racks factory. In fact, it looks like they're doing almost the exact same build, more or less. Seeing no attachments for either players. Yeah, so more or less the same build from both players. Marine tank, obviously strong as a Terran player against a Zerg opponent. So when you have 2 Zergs, if both Terran players go Marine tank, well, clearly that would seem to work as well. Zergling's trying to chase down the SCV of TMG. TMG trying his best to actually make an escape with that. Let's see if either Zerg player has expanded. We do have an expansion coming out here for FarLock. Zerglings of NicoTn still chasing around that SCV. NicoTn deciding not to expand yet. It looks like Banelings will be coming into play. Metabolic Boost just finished. That Baneling Nest is up right now. Also some Banelings coming from FarLock as well. So both Zerg players will be going for those Banelings. I think that SCV got taken care of. Yes, it did. So very, very unfortunate situation there. Back over here, what do we have going on? Really concerned about those Banelings, and rightfully so, because they are on the way. Have they scouted the Baneling nests? No, they have not, but they are just assuming that they are coming. Look at this wall off, and look at that fortification. So yes, that was in fact what Conan was doing, going with that secondary wall in preparation for the possibility of Banelings. That was far before. In fact, no Baneling scouting has actually been done quite yet. They haven't actually seen that Banelings are coming out, so just assuming that that would be the case, both players going for this kind of double wall off, and this will certainly help. But let's see, we do have a lot of Banelings coming out here for FarLock. Let's take a look at the units. We've got 9 Banelings. Is that 10 now? Will be 10 shortly, even 11. So lots of Banelings coming into play, and that is, of course, a little bit concerning. Lots more Banelings over here as well for NicoTn. So there will be a big Baneling Bust attempted to be going down from our double Zerg player. team, and how will the double Terran players deal? Again, as mentioned prior, having these siege tanks up will help a ton, but it's going to be a little bit too late. Here come the banelings going straight for the bus. Now they break down one depot, and the second row of depots. Zerglings will be able to stream in now. Banelings able to get in there as well. This barracks is burning down. A little bit worried right now. Banelings rolling forward, dropping the tank. That is not their primary target, but this bus is going to be doing a lot of damage. Now, right now, the blue Terran player is safe inside of his base. Looks like he will be pushing out for a counterattack with that Banshee, where the Zerglings destroying the resource line here of Conan. Conan having a very hard time trying to rebuild that barracks, but lost the SCV to that Zergling, I'm assuming, lifting off that orbital command. Now, where's that counterattack? Here we go. TMG moving across the map here with the Banshee, and you know what, there's not a lot to deal with this at all. Queen's moving down. Is the Banshee getting cloaked? Yes, he in fact is. So once this comes up, we're certainly going to see a FarLock and the other Zerg player, NicoTn, having a very difficult time, but at the same time, continuing up this aggression. Now we do have some Hellions coming out here for FarLock. FarLock managing to get them out, and they in fact, oh no, that was the siege mode, so no Infernal Pre-Igniter, but these regular Hellions will do very, very well with some proper kiting. The Speedling should be able to catch up though, so it looks like, yes, the Hellions have been dropped at the same time. Remember, we do have this cloak Banshee going down here. Now the layer just 50% of the way finished. This Banshee has got an opportunity to do a lot of damage. 2 kills already. Back over here trying to get out some cloak detection. He doesn't have layer, but we'll be dropping those spore crawlers. But here's a second Banshee coming out. Third one being built right now as well. At the same time, Zerglings doing what they can to these production buildings. Do want to see Conan try to lift these off. Didn't manage to cancel that. He will be trying to get that Hellion out before he actually lifts off that factory over there. The Queens are gone though. Right now the Banshee sitting with 3 kills. We've got 1 kill over here. We'll be pulling down, trying to get some of those drones taken care of as well. Very smart move from TMG, pushing up for that counterattack, realizing his ally was pretty much out of the game. Now Conan should try to actually relocate this if at all possible. Mining inside of this base will be very, very difficult, but again, realize at the same time, where is that Banshee? All right, there we go. We'll be moving across the map and now into the other Zerg player's base. There are a lot of spore crawlers. I don't think it's actually going to be enough right now. There aren't enough Banshees to actually push in on this. The spore crawlers with that cloak detection plus these Queens for anti-air should be more than enough, and we're probably going to be seeing a Hydra then as well as soon as NicoTn gets that layer tech up. So Banshees will be trying to continue to harass FarLock. He's got a great opportunity. We do have some Hellions getting repaired over here. Actually, TMG repairing Conan's Hellion, so Conan might be pushing out again and has started to try to remine in his main. Pretty much content with the fact that the Zerg players are probably contained in their base because of this harassment here from TMG, so the Banshees going to town now. 9, 10, and 7 kills respectively. We'll be trying to snipe down this expansion as well. Another Banshee here inside the main trying to take out the expansion of FarLock. Now we do have the Overseer for that cloak detection, but it doesn't matter because there's just no anti-air right now to actually deal with this. So right now, just the one Zerg player in the game, NicoTn. It looks like FarLock is pretty much out of it right now. From this Banshee harass, he could just harass. He could simply not defend himself. At the same time, 2 Hellions moving out right now for Conan. So this very successful counterattack thus far. It's pretty much 1 player versus 1 player with remnants of a few units. I mean, FarLock's pretty much out of the game. Conan's pretty much out of the game, but he does have these 2 Hellions, so he might be able to do a bit of damage with this. Certainly wouldn't hurt to at least try. Hopefully he doesn't take any damage from those Brewlings. Oh, very, very, very close. Took at least 1 shot there to that Hellion. So Hellions will be moving inside the main base at the same time. Here come those Banshees. Looks like the red player, Conan, will be free to mine for now. Really doesn't have to be too concerned. I feel like right now NicoTn will be way too focused on trying to defend himself against this continuous harassment. Now again, you can see FarLock completely out of the game. He has got nothing. We'll actually be chasing around those Banshees with that Oversteer. It looks like those Hellions will be pulling back as well. A little bit too concerned about the Roaches and Hydras here of NicoTn. So NicoTn, he is in the position where he can actually try to do some damage. He can't really sit in his base forever. The fact that he is just on 1 base is concerning, especially given the fact that TMG has gotten up an expansion. So here comes the Banshee harassment. Now, these Banshees can be spotted, but still trying to do some damage and staying out of the range of the Hydras if at all possible. Do need to pull back. Those Hydras will drop those Banshees very, very quickly. The Banshees do have that range advantage, but on the creep, those Hydras are quick enough to actually catch up and try to snipe them down. Hellions continuing to dance around. What will we be seeing from Conan? Conan looks like he will just be sticking with Hellions, and this is actually pretty good because those Hellions, especially with this Infernal Pre-Igniter, will do very well against those Hydras. Hydras being a light biological unit. The Hellions, of course, with that increased damage to light, and especially with that Infernal Pre-Igniter, will be very strong against those Hydras, and the Hydras are the major threat to the Banshee army here of TMG, so very nice synergy between those two things. We do have a Thor out here, and it is not looking too good for the Zerg team right now. Again, we do have FarLock completely out of game with the one exception of spreading creep over here, and I think he's got an Overseer or two dancing around as well. There we go, finally NicoTn moving out to expand, realizing if he does stay on that one base for too much longer, he'll be in way too much trouble. Almost mined out over here. Would actually really even like to see him try to expand right over here. He's got a ton of resources left here in what was once FarLock's base. Now we do have a couple of Hellions moving across the map, probably looking for expansions or any rogue Zerglings. Changeling moving across as well. Those will probably actually be able to head right up into the main base of TMG, and he might actually get a look at the army composition. It looks like Banshee, Tank, and Thor. Couple Marines sprinkled in there as well. Do we have any upgrades coming for those Marines? It doesn't appear to be the case, so just typical normal Marines, just kind of chilling out, not really doing a ton. And look at that, even mentioning I do not know that language, but discussing the Blue Flame Hellions versus the Hydra, as I mentioned, very strong. And there we go, Changeling does get roasted, but here comes a little bit of a push from NicoTn. NicoTn just getting up his expansion. I'm concerned. I don't think he's got enough to push right now. 66 army supply as opposed to the 100 here for our blue Terran player TMG. Look at this siege line. Bunker set up as well. Banshees and the Thor, that the Zerg player can really not push into that, and the Hellions getting taken care of very quickly. So all that effort to get up those Hellions for Conan, unfortunately that gets taken care of. We do have one tank set up and a second tank coming out as well, but here comes the push right now. NicoTn trying to move up, but walking right into the siege line. Very devastating, losing a lot of Hydras and not doing any damage. We do have the Cloak Banshees moving forward as well. There is that Overseer, so that might get dropped, but again, walking into some more tank fire. So unfortunate to see that. And then the Hellions come into play, and see you later, Hydras. And the Zerg player just lost everything that he had. He's got a couple of Hydras back at home. A Sacrificial Queen. No idea about that one. And the Overseer a little bit in a little bit of danger from that Thor, but quick enough to be able to actually get away. Here comes the expected counterattack from TMG, and obviously at this point, very concerned right now for NicoTn. I don't think he's got enough to deal with this. He's got more Hydras and just one Roach trying to come out. Maybe there's a supply block. What is that Roach? What is that? It's Roach. It's not really building, but here we go. Here comes the push, and NicoTn just leaving the game, walking into the siege line. Also, the Hellions roasting all of the Hydras, and there is the GG from FarLock, and the GG returned from Conan and TMG. So what a game, a nice 2v2. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Once more, guys, if you have some Masters level 2v2 replays, if you are in the Masters League in 1v1 as well as in your team games, so 2v2, 3v3, or 4v4, please feel free to send those to me. This is a perfect example, just a game that got sent to me that I decided to cast. You can send that to force@forcestrategygaming.com. I do those team games every Thursday, and if you send it to me and if it's a solid replay, then you may very well see your game right up here on Force Strategy Gaming. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed the content. As always, guys, if you like the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.